Hello guys, welcome back to another episode. It's your greasy girl Fel, and today I'm here to tell you that retinols are not that hard to use. And honestly, retinol is one of my favorite ingredients because it's good for things like pores, helping with fine lines. It's the only real ingredient apart from vitamin C that can help to synthesize and boost collagen and elastin production in the long term, and it helps with acne. So today I'm going to do a really simple routine for the nighttime that anyone can follow along with. And before we start, I want to thank Youth to the People for sponsoring a portion of this video because they are coming out with a new serum and it has retinol and a bunch of our favorite soothing, calming, skin barrier friendly ingredients. So I'm going to talk all about that in just a bit. So let's just start with my routine. Alright, so first of all, let's put up my hair. Alrighties, so the first step of any routine is obviously cleansing, so let's start with that. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to use a cleansing water. So normally I use cleansing waters during the day rather than at night because I want a more thorough clean at night. The cleansers I've actually been using to death are these two. I just brought it to show you. It's the Tata Harper Softening Cleanser for sensitive skin, and also the Youth to the People Kale and Green Tea Spinach Vitamins Cleanser. Alright, so now moving on. With any routine, I like to go in with a toner, just regardless of whether you're oily, dry, or whatever, because I feel like it just still hydrates the skin. So I'm going in with the vegan kombucha tea essence from Dr. Surical, and it's so beautiful. It's like a tea thing. It's like a tea foam where you shake it. Boop! Oh no, it's splattered. Okay. And you know, especially when it comes to using retinols, even if the formulas are really gentle, you want to pack in really soothing, calming, skin barrier friendly ingredients like fermented black tea, which is a really great antioxidant. So just press that into the skin. Bing! Okay, so now moving into our serum step. This is really part of any routine. That's where the action is. It's where you can really focus on whatever skin concern you're looking for. So today I want to introduce the new Youth to the People Retinol plus Niacinamide Youth Serum. Okay, so guys, look at this. When you pump it out, it is this beautiful, vibrant yellow. Do you see this? Oh my goodness. And like when you work it into skin, it just is so lightweight and fast absorbing. So the active ingredient in this is actually retinaldehyde, and it has 0.1% of it. So it's really effective without it being really potent as well. Because something like adapalene, which is a retinoid, can be really irritating on the skin if you're just starting out. So retinaldehyde is actually really effective while also being gentle on the skin as well. And you could think of it as a little bit more effective than some retinols because this percentage is the closest that you'll get before it needs to be prescribed. So if you guys are like, you know, going through things like texture on the skin, oh my god, I wish you could feel it. It's like so scaly sometimes, uneven on the T-zone, maybe you're a little oily and your pores seem enlarged. The greatest thing about this ingredient is that it can really just help with all of that. Now, it's not just the retinaldehyde by itself doing its job, right? Because we're always looking at what other ingredients are kind of supplementing and supporting the skin while the active ingredient is doing its job. So this is obviously coupled with a little bit of the niacinamide. And guys, niacinamide, as you know, it's like the friend of every skincare ingredient because it really helps to strengthen the skin barrier while helping with things like pores as well, to even skin tone and texture, and to subtly like hydrate the skin all around to give it that really overall evened look. So we used to talk a lot about, you know, ingredients that used to mix together and what's should be avoided and things like that. Niacinamide pairs so beautifully with any kind of like retinol or retinoic acid product, and the studies are anywhere between like 2 and 5% of niacinamide is super effective for the skin, and this one has 5% of it injected in there to do its job as well to support your skin barrier. And this has also got a triple ceramide complex, and ceramides are basically the building blocks of our skin. And so we really want to replenish our skin with that to really offset, you know, things like potential drying or anything like that. And it's also got vitamin E and ashwagandha. So ashwagandha is actually something that I drink in a lot of my kind of like herbal drinks. And it's basically an adaptogenic plant that's been around for like hundreds of years to help with oxidative stress. So obviously when we like drink it, it helps internally, but on our skin, there's like a whole little system of microbiome and bacteria. So it really helps with things like free radical damage, you know, environmental damage, things that we can't even see. So it's really protecting that skin barrier, while the retinaldehyde is really doing its job to speed over the cell turnover so that our pores aren't blocked, they're cleaned. And if that wasn't enough, it's got this triple whammy of mushrooms. So mushrooms are kind of like hyaluronic acid in a sense that they can really hold, retain, and attract water. So when it comes to the skin, and if you guys see any kind of like mushroom ingredient, that's essentially what it does for the skin. It attracts and retains water, so our skin is nice and plump and like glowing from within, you know what I mean? Because that truly, once again, offsets any potential like dryness that might come from an ingredient like, you know, retinols. So you can see my skin is beautiful. Some questions that I got for retinols is, can it really help with fine lines and wrinkles? Answer is yes. So here's the thing, vitamin A's, whether it's a retinol, a retinoic acid, a derivative like retinaldehyde, how it works is that it gives you short-term effects, and the short-term effects are really achieved through the process of that sped up cell renewal process. So with that, it helps with pores and kind of like degunking them, because if they're less filled, they look less large. It also helps with texture because you're not left with a bunch of flakiness on the epidermis. So, you know, it's renewing it and the dead ones are going away. So it's also not getting stuck in the pores. So it looks, feels even, and your pores are minimized. And you can probably see the difference of using this within like a couple weeks to month. For me, I can see like almost instantly or within a couple of days after using my retinol products that my skin is evened in terms of tone and texture. So that's the short term. And then where the fine lines and wrinkles and things like collagen and elastin production play in is actually the long-term effects. So while you're reaping the benefits of these short-term effects, if you continually use your vitamin A products, it will over time, like over 6 months to a year and beyond, give you that collagen production that works in the deeper layers of our skin in the dermis region, which is where collagen is produced. You can't argue against the studies. They really help with the fine lines, the wrinkles. One of our team members was like, I want to start using retinols because I feel like I have lines here. And honestly, me too, guys, me too. Ro and I also have our smile lines, but you know, smile lines are just from smiling. Embrace it. I'm talking about, you know, like things like crow's feet, general plumpness of the skin. Like that's what it will help with if you use it consistently. So I would say starting out, look at the ingredients, and something like this that's packed with really supportive ingredients that are helping build your skin barrier as well as do the work of all that stuff that we were just mentioned. Start off either once or twice a week and then do that for 2 to 3 weeks until you're like, you know what, confident, my skin is loving this. And then you can step it up a notch and increase that frequency to about 3 or 4 times a week. See how that goes. All the while, like really check up on your skin, get intimate with your skin, especially in the morning and during the day, because we're using this at night, right? This is in our nighttime routine when the skin is going through regeneration. Just look at your skin, like if it doesn't have any drying effects, that you're good to go. If you do feel a little bit dry, you want to like kick up the notch in maybe your moisturizer, find something that's a little bit more thick in consistency, or just spread it out a little bit more to give your skin a little more time to adapt. So it really is easy. Honestly, something like this, you will not have any drying effects. Everything about it is building your skin as you go. But everyone's skin is different. If you're sensitive, if you're not sensitive, this is still the way you should approach any kind of new ingredient, I would say. And if you do find it a little drying that week, then just reduce the times back to, you know, 2 or 3 times until once again your skin has adapted, and then you're good. Because sometimes honestly, like I'll realize, oh my god, maybe I've used it too much or I've used it for too long and my skin is actually starting to dry. On those occasions, although it doesn't happen very often anymore because my skin is like, it loves vitamin A, then I'll just, yeah, find a really nourishing moisturizer to counteract it and just make sure I'm also like hydrating it. You know, the pre-steps before is also really important. So maybe some of you are even wondering, like, if I want collagen production, would I use a vitamin C or would I use, you know, a vitamin A? The thing is, for me, I want something that's a little more stable. So personally, I actually enjoy using vitamin A's more. And the retinaldehyde in this is stabilized as well. So you don't have that, you know, in the back of your mind, your vitamin C potentially going rancid because of air, sun, and everything in between, you know? So it's a little more stable in that sense. So yeah, that's just also something to keep in mind. Also, once again, to kind of round it all off, keep every other like product within your routine really minimal, so no other actives. And then on days that you're not using your vitamin A product, then you can go in with your BHAs, you can go in with your vitamin C in that same like routine. Like for me, I would normally use my BHA toner if I'm also breaking out, but on days that I use my vitamin A serums and things like that, I won't use the BHA. So yes, glowing! All right, now moving on to our last step, which is super important, moisturizer. So this is the one I've been using to death, and it is the Wind Casbah Moonlight Transforming Cream to Oil Nightly Mask. So this is a moisturizer, like a moisturizer mask that you just leave on overnight, and it's beautiful. It smells so good. It transports you to a whole other place with the natural like aroma of it. It's got orange blossom and iris, and then it's also got a bunch of glycerin, which is really good for hydrating the skin, and vitamin E. And then when you put it on, there's this effect that it has, which makes it like just turn to kind of like this watery oil. Oh my god, I don't know if I even like described that right, but it is so good, and it just makes your skin so luminous, and that's what you really want for that nighttime routine, because that's when we're regenerating. It's just like, you know, we sleep and our skin also sleeps, but when we're sleeping, your body's actually doing a lot of work to repair itself, to regenerate, for that cell turnover to do its thing, so that by the morning we're looking nice, fresh, and plump. Can you see it's already like living its best life? So that really rounds up the routine. Honestly, like I hope I shared enough with you to give you guys confidence in knowing that like it really isn't that scary to use. There are so many different types of vitamin A. So if you are more sensitive, I highly suggest you guys start out using the retinaldehyde or the retinols, because it's not as potent as something like adapalene, which is a retinoic acid, like straight up. So there is a process that the skin goes through to really absorb and utilize that ingredient. But with these derivatives, you can like have peace of mind knowing it's doing everything that you want without any sort of side effects. So yes, if you have any questions, please leave it below. Hope you enjoyed spending some time with me today, and I want to thank you to the people again. And of course, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you really soon. Bye!